who are the teams that when Monday, 6 p.m. comes, it's like, wow, that is a team that either did a lot, whether they offloaded a bunch, whether they bought a bunch. Last year, the two ends of the spectrum, of course, the Padres, no surprise. The Minnesota Twins last year, the main character with their massive teardown. There are some real candidates on both ends of the spectrum this season. But you can go in either direction. But as far as teams going big, because you break it down into teams going big, that could go in both directions. Who's a team maybe beyond that Scooble quartet we already talked about that you think could really be in the news and you be tweeting about them a bunch over the next few days?
Oh, man. I mean, it could be the Boston Red Sox. It could be the New York Yankees. It could be in another direction, the Los Angeles Angels. I'm super curious to see if Paul Daboney does anything like interesting in Washington. I don't think the Nats are motivated necessarily to go and move a guy like CJ Abrams, but I also think is there going to be a point at which CJ Abrams' value is higher than it is right now. He's in the middle of the best season of his career. He's in the middle of one of the hottest stretches of his career. He's a guy who, if you add him, could make a team like Tampa Bay, for example, a championship, even more of a championship caliber team. And, during any discussions for Theo Gillen, they need someone with multiple years of control. CJ Abrams actually qualifies there. So what's going to happen with the Los Angeles Angels to me is incredibly interesting. An interim GM with 3 potential franchise-changing deals. And he's got to work through that. John Mozeliak does and figure out, okay, what am I going to do? And then he's got to go to Artie Moreno and say, hey, got this on the table. Can I do it? And we know how that goes. The Phillies, to me, they're fascinating just because I don't know what direction they're going to go in. They need a lot. For a team that's frankly as good as they are, they need a lot. And I don't know how they're going to go about getting it. And then, of course, San Diego. The ask, guys, on Mason Miller and Adrian Morejon is beyond right now. It is absurd. I mean, for Miller, how do you think AJ Preller starts his conversations with other GMs when it comes to Mason Miller?
Well,
I'll have the lot.
And then a chocolate frog just goes and jumps out the window. It's great. The conversation starts like this. Essentially, if Mason Miller is going to be in play, everyone in your organization needs to be accessible. Everyone. So if he's talking about the Brewers, that means Jesus Mate is going to be there. If he's talking with the Seattle Mariners, Kate Anderson has to be on the table. And for some organizations, they are deeply turned off by that, and yet they also understand when you have a guy of the quality of Mason Miller who has the impact, not just in games right now, but the GM was saying this to me yesterday. It is disproportionately impactful in the playoffs to have someone like Mason Miller upon whom you can rely like they do, because once you get into the playoffs, it really is an every inning matters situation. And that ninth inning, we have a statistic for that, championship probability added. And the closers of teams that are in there for every game, like they're quite high up on that list. So it's the one time a year where the idea of a one inning guy, he's only going to throw 60 or 70 innings. No, these are important leverage innings. And it's why AJ Preller wants multiple top 10 prospects from an organization for the rental of Adrian Morejon, who is probably the best actual reliever that's out on the market right now. It's quite a weak relief year. And teams are getting a little snippy about that. And I think, part of the reason we saw AJ Minter move early is because Minnesota wanted the bird in hand. And the Mets wanted to sort of stack their levels just in terms of when they're dealing guys. Like there's a timing element to all of this, and the way that each of these teams individually approaches it, it's to me the most fascinating part of the deadline.
Because you never know, with 30 minutes left, you might get a call from Craig Breslow asking you to trade Joe Ryan. And you're like, I literally do not have time for this right now. My last question is about David Stearns and the New York Mets, who have endured a mountain of woe all season long. Stearns' reputation as an executive has taken a serious hit over the last year. This was someone who showed up in New York with real bona fides, has basically shed those bona fides gradually since the OMG Mets went away. What can Stearns do at this deadline to start building the next good Mets team? Because there are really two different paths, and I'm curious which one you think he takes. Is he going to sell all the rentals, or is he going to go beyond that?
I don't think he's going much beyond that. I mean, Luke Weaver, not a rental. I think he will go. But are you talking like Lindor? Is that more along the lines of what you're thinking?
Lindor's not going anywhere. I'm talking like Alvarez. Do they try and offload Bichette? Are they going to try and reshuffle the deck for 2027? Do they believe in like the Beatty, Alvarez, Vientos group, or are they going to try and move on from those guys through trade?
Does anyone? I like. I'm just saying. What are they getting back?
I believe in Alvarez. I don't believe in the other two, but I believe in Alvarez.
What are any of them getting back at this point, though? Like, I don't think you're going to get any sort of a franchise-changing return for Francisco Alvarez at this point. And that's why, to me, all the energy needs to be spent trying to figure out how are you going to take a good group compared to their peers, but not necessarily an elite group in a vacuum. How are you going to take them and maximize that? And I thought the return for Minter, who's in his walk year, was perfectly fine. Billy Amick can't field and might not be able to hit for average. Bruin Agbayani is 19 years old and has tools, but he's still 19 years old. Has big league bloodlines. Still 19 years old. And you don't expect a whole great return for an AJ Minter. I'm more curious to see what they get for Clay Holmes. I had a team tell me yesterday that they dropped out on Holmes because Stearns is essentially suggesting that the price has gotten high enough where it was beginning to get uncomfortable. And so I do think they're going to do well for Clay Holmes. The Freddie Peralta return is doomed to look bad because it will always be compared to where it was 6 months ago. And when the Mets went out and gave up Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat to get him, they understand, like, didn't work. And Freddie Peralta, the Freddie Peralta tenure in New York, I think, is not going to be known for a whole lot, is going to be easily forgotten. But maybe they get someone back in this deal.
Statue? Do you think the statue goes like by the casino or the soccer stadium?
What would the size of the statue be? So for my anniversary earlier this year, I try to. Do you know there are like different types of gifts for every anniversary? You know, like there's traditional
like,
and then there's a modern.
This is definitely something that Jordan's wife knows all of the different years for, because she is.
Can she name it like Tyler Kepner can World Series winners? Like, is it? So I'm looking this year,
and this Kepner level.
This year, 19th anniversary is bronze. I was like, man, it's a really good like bronze sculptor who lives in Kansas City. I'm gonna go and look at his studio and see what we got there. Do you know how expensive bronze is? I walked home that day with the saddest little statue. It's like, I've been married to you for 19 years. Here's a trinket. And I'm just wondering, like, is the Freddie Peralta statue just like going to be Lego sized, or what's that? Is it going to be one of those, like, this is what's the scale going to be? 200 to 1?
Like Ant-Man.
My question is, how does it compare to the Justin Verlander Mets statue? Is it going to be more? Certainly cheaper, but again, in terms of those forgettable tenures, there's actually a few contenders there.
God, I almost forgot that Justin Verlander was a Met. What weird years those were.
Exactly. All right, there. Jeff, before we let you go. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
I was going to say, I was there. I saw Justin Verlander on the Mets. He was wild times. Jeff, one bold prediction for this deadline besides Ryan Stanek extension with the Cardinals.
Oh my God. I hate bold predictions, man.
Be bold. Don't be cold.
I'm not bold though. That's
fine. Give me something cold. One cold. No. One cold prediction. If you don't want to do a bold prediction, one cold prediction.
Derek Scooble's going to the Dodgers.
Thank you, Jeff.